The Lion and the Rat. In a deep, verdant forest filled with the rustling of leaves and the murmurs of bubbling brooks, there lived a great lion named Raka. Raka was a majestic beast, with a thick, golden mane that seemed to catch the sun's light and make him glow as if he were a creature of legend. His paws were massive, each step leaving an imprint in the soft earth that smaller animals would later examine with a mixture of awe and fear. He was known throughout the forest as the king, respected and feared by all. One warm afternoon, after a particularly large feast, Raka found himself feeling heavy-eyed and content. The air was warm, carrying the scent of wildflowers and damp earth, and the forest around him was silent except for the occasional birdsong. Deciding that a nap was in order, Raka stretched out his massive form beneath a large tree. His eyes slowly closed, and soon he was lost in a deep, peaceful slumber. Now, in that very forest, there also lived a small, quick, and nimble rat named Tito. Tito was curious by nature, and though he was tiny compared to the other creatures of the forest, he had a heart full of courage. Tito was known for his cleverness, often using his wits to gather food and avoid the dangers that lurked around him. Though he was aware of Raka, the mighty lion, Tito had never seen him up close. He had heard tales of the lion's power, and it fascinated him. On that same warm afternoon, Tito was out foraging for food. He scurried along, pausing every now and then to nibble on seeds and nuts he found hidden beneath the forest's lush greenery. As he was sniffing around, he noticed a large shadow lying across the ground. Curiosity piqued, Tito followed the shadow to its source, and soon he found himself staring at the sleeping lion. Tito's heart raced at the sight. He had never been so close to such a large creature before, and the lion's size was astonishing. Raka's chest rose and fell with each breath, his mane rippling slightly in the gentle breeze. Tito stood there, torn between his fear and his curiosity. He knew he should turn and scurry away, but something inside him urged him to stay. Emboldened by the lion's peaceful state, Tito decided to play a little game. Tito began to dart around Raka, weaving in and out of his paws and even daring to tug gently on the lion's tail. The lion didn't stir, and Tito grew bolder, climbing onto one of Raka's massive paws and scampering across his back. Tito felt a thrill of adventure coursing through him. Here he was, a tiny rat, playing on the very body of the king of the forest. But in his excitement, Tito accidentally tickled the lion's nose with his tiny whiskers. Suddenly, Raka's eyes flew open, and with a mighty roar, he jerked awake, his powerful paw slamming down on the ground, trapping Tito under it. The sound of the roar echoed through the forest, startling birds from their trees and causing other animals to scurry for cover. Tito froze, realizing his mistake. Looking up, he saw the lion's fierce eyes staring down at him, a mixture of anger and curiosity glinting within them. The lion's massive jaws parted, revealing sharp teeth, and his voice rumbled like distant thunder as he spoke. "Who dares to disturb my sleep?" Raka growled. "A tiny rat, bold enough to climb upon me? Do you not know who I am?" Tito, trembling but determined, looked up at the lion and said, "Great king, please forgive me. I meant no harm. I was simply curious and got carried away. I know I am small and may seem insignificant to you, but please, spare my life. One day, I might be able to repay your kindness." Raka looked at the little rat with a mixture of surprise and amusement. The idea that a tiny creature like Tito could ever repay him seemed absurd. He let out a low chuckle, shaking his massive head. "You repay me? What could a creature as small as you ever do for me, the king of the forest?" Tito's heart pounded, but he held his ground. "Sometimes, great things come from small packages," he replied softly, his voice filled with quiet dignity. "Please, just let me go, and perhaps one day you will see the truth in my words." Amused by Tito's courage, and finding himself in a merciful mood, Rocca lifted his paw and released the little rat. "Very well," he said, his voice softer now. "Go, little one. I will spare you this time. But remember, be careful where your curiosity takes you." Tito bowed gratefully and scampered off into the underbrush, his heart still racing. He couldn't believe he had escaped the lion's wrath. Grateful for his life, he returned to his burrow, vowing to remember the lion's mercy. Days turned into weeks, and one afternoon, while Tito was out gathering food, he heard a strange, distant roaring. He perked up, his sharp ears twitching as he recognized the sound. It was the roar of Rocca, but something was different. The roar was filled with panic and desperation. Tito's heart sank, sensing that something was terribly wrong. Ignoring his fear, Tito followed the sound, weaving through the forest, determined to find the source of the distress. Finally, he came upon a clearing and froze at the sight before him. There was Rocca, the great lion, struggling mightily within a hunter's net. The thick ropes tangled around his legs, pinning him to the ground. The more Rocca struggled, the tighter the ropes seemed to become. His powerful muscles bulged, and his claws tore at the ropes, but they were too thick, too strong. Rocca roared again, a sound filled with frustration and pain. Tito's heart pounded as he took in the scene. He knew that without help, the mighty lion might be captured by the hunters. Summoning all his courage, Tito scurried forward, dodging between the ropes until he was close to Rocca's massive face. "Hold still, great king," Tito whispered. "I am here to help you." Rocca, startled, turned his gaze toward the little rat, disbelief flickering in his eyes. "You help me?" he said, his voice tinged with despair and exhaustion. "Yes," Tito replied confidently. "Stay calm, and I will set you free." Without wasting another moment, Tito began to gnaw through the ropes with his sharp teeth. Despite his small size, Tito worked quickly, biting through one rope after another with surprising strength. His teeth sliced through the thick fibers, and with each snap of a rope, Rocca felt the tension loosening. The lion remained still, watching Tito in awe as the little rat worked tirelessly, determined to free him. Time passed, and Tito continued gnawing, even as his jaw grew sore and his tiny teeth ached. At last, with a final bite, the last rope snapped, and Rocca was free. The great lion stood, shaking off the remnants of the net and stretching his powerful limbs. Rocca looked down at Tito, his eyes filled with gratitude and wonder. He lowered his head until he was face to face with the little rat, his voice softer than it had ever been. "I owe you my life, little friend. You have shown me that kindness knows no size, and that courage can come from even the smallest of hearts." Tito's eyes shone with pride, and he bowed humbly. "It was an honor, great king. You spared my life once, I am glad I could repay you." From that day forward, the lion and the rat shared a special bond. Rocca, the mighty king of the forest, became the guardian of Tito, and Tito, in turn, became a trusted friend to the lion. Their story spread throughout the forest, a reminder to all creatures that compassion and courage can create friendships that transcend even the greatest differences. And so, the lion and the rat remained friends for the rest of their days, each carrying in their hearts the lesson that kindness and humility can turn even the most unlikely of strangers into allies. Attention. The moral of The Lion and the Rat is that kindness and courage can come from the most unexpected places, and that no act of compassion is ever too small to make a difference. It teaches that true strength lies not just in physical power, but also in the ability to help and support others, regardless of their size or status. This story emphasizes the importance of friendship, humility, and the idea that everyone has the potential to contribute positively to the lives of others. This is Storywave YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Thanks for watching.